Alright folks, fix the crack. I hope you're all well today. In this video I am drawing inspiration from the serial killer herself, Amanda Mangia. So if you haven't heard of her, she is a Canadian mukbanger. She does a lot of videos with sweet food. In particular, she likes doing cereal videos, whole boxes of cereal, which is what I'm going to be doing today. She's also got a very sweet personality. She is quite soft-spoken, so if you like someone who's like calming and positive, then she's a good mukbanger to watch. She also looks like Ariana Grande to boot. She's very pretty to look at, if you're bothered about that. And I don't know her personally, but I do enjoy watching her videos, especially her cereal videos. So this is also going to be the first of a bit of a series that I'm hoping to do, which is going to be Breakfast Club. Don't you forget about me. Don't. So yes, I'm going to be doing breakfast recipe videos and mukbang videos. Obviously, this mukbang video is not going to have a corresponding recipe video, because I think you all know how to make yourself a bowl of cereal in the morning, at least I would hope so anyway. So I've gone for Cookie Crisp because I remember thinking when I first watched Amanda do a cereal video where she eats an entire box of cereal, I remember thinking to myself, man, that was the dream as a kid, was it not? To eat a whole box of cereal. Like, you'd have been an absolute mad lad to do that. So I've gone for something a bit like childish. I remember these coming out when I was a kid and thinking to myself, you know, like even as a kid I thought, eating a bowl full of cookies in the morning doesn't really sound very healthy. This sounds a bit like ridiculous, so this seemed like something good to indulge on. The cartoon wolf doesn't look the same as I remember. I'm sure I remember him being a bit more like 3D. Anyway, let's get these open. So there's supposed to be 16 portions in this. Today they're going to be one. Ooh, you smell good. You smell chocolatey. Oh my lord. I don't think it's all going to fit in the bowl. Okay, I'll top it up as I go along. I don't think they're all going to fit. Let's see if we can get any more in. Well, that will do. They're quite cute. They're like tiny little, teeny weeny little cookies. I seem to remember them being more cookie-like. I wonder if they've made it like more healthy over the years. You've got all this stuff in the box. Whole grains, 6 vitamins, source of calcium and iron, trying to make people think that they're healthy. But yeah, they are essentially cookies, aren't they? The taste is a little bit like Cocoa Pops. Let's get some milk on there. I don't think you'll be able to hear, but I can hear that slight crackle that you get when you put milk over cereal. Crikey. I think I'm going to need more milk actually. I don't want them all to get soggy though. I remember the adverts for these being very sort of American. Have a first bite. They do taste more cereal-y than cookie-y, if that makes sense. Yeah, so I remember the adverts having that very bizarre narrative that a lot of cereal adverts for kids, especially in the States, had, where you've got like this cartoon character that goes around stealing cereal from kids rather than just buying it. It kind of makes sense for Lucky Charms. Lucky Charms is something that we didn't really get as kids in Britain. They've started selling it now, but just in the American aisle. Because we've got an American aisle in British shops, British supermarkets. I wonder if I've got any Americans watching, will you tell me if you also have a British aisle in your shops? Because I'd like to know. But back to my point, it makes sense for the character in Lucky Charms, like the little leprechaun guy, to be after the cereal because it's his Lucky Charms and like they've stolen his Lucky Charms. So I understand his motive, but for all the rest of them, like this Cookie, I think his name's Chip. I just called him Cookie, didn't I? The wolf called Chip. Like, why don't they just go pop down the shops and buy some themselves? I think I'm going to move this out of the way now, because you all know what it is. Oh, actually, yeah, can you go there? No, you can't really see it. I'm just going to get it right out of the way. Onto the floor. So on the theme of the childhood dream of eating a whole box of cereal, in this video I wanted to talk about Saturday morning cartoons. A bit of 90s kids nostalgia. Especially British 90s kids. but other people will know the cartoons. Other nationalities. So on a Saturday morning, the first thing that came on was a show called Dig It. Very 90s name. These are really nice, by the way. I realise I've not said much about the actual cereal. They're not too sweet. I thought they would be really sweet, but they've got a little bit of salt to them as well. And you can probably hear that they're still crunchy. Or crispy, I should say. They're called Cookie Crisp, aren't they? So, this show called Dig It was on pretty early on a Saturday morning. I couldn't tell you what time it started because I'm sure we never caught the very beginning of it. I think it was on from really early in the morning. But me and my sister would come down and watch it every morning. Every Saturday morning, I mean. It must have been fairly early because I think my parents tended to stay in bed while we watched it. Actually, my dad probably was up. He's usually up at the crack of dawn. And I've never been a morning person, so my sister would always get up before me. She would be downstairs watching it before I got downstairs. My gran actually gave her the nickname Morning Star. I got the nickname Blumhead because I think I was trying to say something when I was really young and I came out with the word Blumhead, and from then on I was Blumhead. Whereas my sister had something really nice, like Morning Star. I just get Blumhead. I liked it though, I didn't take offence. So, on this show, Dig It, I remember the cartoons that played on it were Rugrats and Recess. I asked my sister before I did this video as well, I was like, can you remember what cartoons were on Dig It? Because I don't think I can remember all that much because, like I say, it was early in the morning, so I can't remember much when I'm still bleary-eyed. And it was many moons ago. So she said she thinks they played, what was it? Aladdin, like the cartoon of Aladdin. Now that one, I can't remember much of. I do remember it being good, I remember it being a good cartoon, but I just can't remember much about it, like what the episodes were or what happened. I could tell you all what happens in the film, because I've rewatched the film as an adult. I do love some Disney. I love me some Disney nostalgia, if you couldn't have told from the Minnie Mouse dressing gown. But the Rugrats and Recess I do remember. The characters and the character developments in both shows I remember being really good. But one of the things I really loved, especially as a kid, was the way that they would say things in Rugrats that were like slightly off. You know, like a child trying to replicate adult speech. And now I can't hear the words, and everything was back to normal, without thinking, and everything was back to Norman. I can't do Tommy's voice, but... in my mind it's got Tommy's voice. In Recess it was the characters that I loved. And there was a few episodes where there was quite like a endearing storyline related to the characters. Where they picked out one character. Like I remember there was one about Gus, who was like the little scrawny kid, who I think his dad was in the army, so he was sad that he had to keep, you know, moving around from place to place, and he felt like he was gonna lose his friends. and touched my heart. And remember the one about Mr. E as well? They had a supply teacher who came in who was called Mr. E. He was a mysterious guy. If you remember any of these episodes, give us a shout in the comments. Another episode that I remember really liking was one where, what was her name? Spinelli, who's like a tomboy, gets transformed into one of this, a member of like this girl gang. I think they're called the Ashleys. Because they found out her name was Ashley as well and she got transformed into one of them. They used to always say, "Scandalous!" That was their catchphrase. I don't think I had a clue what the word meant for years. And then I think when I did learn what the word meant, I thought, oh, that's what they were saying all this time. So the show that was on after Dig It was called SMTV Live, or Saturday Morning TV Live. And those who remember it know that this is when Ant and Dec were really at their prime. Forget Saturday Night Live, forget, I don't know, Britain's Got Talent. This is when Ant and Dec were at their prime. Kat Deely presented on it as well, can't forget her. And I think they used to show Cow and Chicken. I think. I remember Cow and Chicken being just like the most bizarre cartoon. Like to the point where it made you feel uncomfortable, do you know what I mean? Like as a kid, I was like, what is going on in this show? It was really bizarre. I can't remember much specific from it. I remember my mum really liking that show. She used to come in and watch that when it was on. Don't know why, because I thought it was bizarre. And one of the characters on it was the devil, like just, it was just there. And I remember him being in it quite a lot, which I suppose was a bit odd. Like the devil would just like rock up and just be like chilling out with the main characters. It was one of those shows as well where you had a character which you like never saw their face. So like the parents, all you ever saw was a pair of legs. And Cow and Chicken were brother and sister, but their parents were both humans, or they had human legs. Who knows what was on top. So that kind of sets the scene for how bizarre it was. I don't know who comes up with ideas for kids' cartoons, but some of them are very bizarre. I'm sure you must have to have a very active imagination. These are getting a bit tough to eat now. I don't feel like I'm living the dream anymore. The two cartoons that I remember were definitely on it though, on SNTV Live. Were Pokemon and Digimon. Which I'm sure every 90s kid has been a fan of. And if you ever meet a 90s kid who claims not to know the lyrics of the Pokemon theme song, you have got a liar on your hands, my friend. I don't care how cool you think you are. I don't care how bad your memory is. If you hear the lyrics, I wanna be the very best, then there is not a 90s kid in the world who will not reply with, that no one ever was. Some people can even sing it in tune. Digimon's theme tune was not up to standard. I remember like being on the playground and sort of ripping into Digimon because it was just like a copy of Pokemon. But I did enjoy it, to be honest. I think everybody did. Everybody still watched it, didn't they? I think in those days, though, even if you didn't like something, you would watch through it because it was just part of the programming. You couldn't pause it, you couldn't rewind it, you couldn't watch it later. You either sat down and watched it there and then, or you missed it. That was it. But no, Digimon was decent. And it was, like, the storyline was different. And you still bought all the toys and everything, didn't you? I think the best bits about SMTV Live, though, were the live bits. The bits with Ant and Dec and Kat. They did a lot of, like, sketches. Like, there was one called Chums, and it was a spoof of Friends. Another thing that they used to do after they'd shown Pokemon was one of them would dress as Gary, and one of them would dress up as Misty. I think Ant dressed up as Misty, if I remember. And they would like have these like sort of Jeremy Kyle type arguments. Like they'd have like a bit of a domestic. I guess in this scenario they must have been a couple. In that version of things. And when they argued, they had like HB bars, so if one of them was like arguing better than the other, like the HB on either one would go down. So it was like a Pokemon battle. I'm sure there was one where Misty went into labour as well. I'm sure I've not made that up because my sister remembers it as well. But yeah, that was kids' entertainment in the 90s. It sounds now like a bit of a fever dream. Or if you're from another country, let us know if you had Saturday morning cartoons and what was on them. Or tell me like what your favourite cartoon growing up was. Let's get a bit of 90s nostalgia down in the comments. Right, I think I'm going to have one last bite because I cannot cope anymore. I'm absolutely stuffed. I don't know how Amanda does it. I'm afraid I've not done her justice. Maybe she doesn't have the whole box. I don't want to doubt her. Anyway. Here is the last bite. So as always, thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, give us a like, give us a comment and subscribe for our content like this in the future. I hope to see you again in a future Breakfast Club video. But till then, cheerio, bye. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide, each Pokemon to understand the power that's inside. Pokemon, it's you and me. I know it's my destiny.